Welcome to the weekly index and stock review. It is Saturday, March 4th. We're going to dive into the week at a glance and how some previous days and weeks have been. So let's get right to it. On NASDAQ itself, as you can see, this is kind of where we're sitting at on the daily. All right, so that zone has finally been broken free of, and now it's sitting right here in between two support and resistance zones. Okay, what I believe will happen, and I'll analyze this on the 1 hour a little bit better. All right, so what we've had happen is a lot of rejection right here. Uh, in the a few trading days actually, and then it dropped down, kind of hovered around this line, up and down, broke through it, came back up to test. I believe it's going to be bouncing off this zone and coming right back down. All right, and for two reasons, right? As you can see, it's been a historical support and resistance zone. And again, I'll prove that. I'll switch it to a 6-hour time frame, not just the daily, and watch. This is the zone there. This is the zone here. As you can see, it's tested it a few times, finally got up, and then candles broken through it. Same thing with here. It broke up, and then a few wicks testing to the downside. Up it goes, testing it again, finally breaking through, testing a lower one, and then up it went all the way down to here. Previously, same sort of idea. It's been within that zone. So that's exactly why I'm basing that idea off this current area. On top of that, fib retracement, right? So the last high all the way to the bottom right here, as you can see, 618 is just at the touch of that candle. So for me, I'd be taking it possibly even here, right on that line, right? I do believe that it's going to reject off where this liquidity is right here on the supply and demand zone, and then dropping further down. So USD has a lot of news coming out in the next few days. If you caught my Forex review, I dive into I'm going to start diving into the news now, and I covered the week at a glance. So on the USD side, there's going to be several times where Powell speaks. I believe it's going to be Monday and Tuesday, and a few other pieces of information are coming out within the week as well, but nothing major until the bank statements increase. So they're projecting a quarter basis point. There's a 30% chance it'll be half a point because it looks like the economy has gotten a little bit hotter, and that is not the intention. So we could be seeing a very drastic move to the downside. And it all depends when. So, I mean, I'm thinking possibly Monday, if not Tuesday. Like, we might see a violent move up and then a slow trickle down. As you can see, if I switch it back to the 1 hour, it is extremely overbought. Okay. So the last time we went up to this zone, let me just draw a line, right? So we're at 82 points, and I'll just make that a little thinner. Right? Last time we got into that zone, look what happened. This was a very small rejection, and it went even higher, and then that's when it started bouncing down and dropping. Okay, same idea here. It wicked up and then sharp moved down and then back up again, but it formed a divergence and then dropped again, right? And then oversold and then way back up. Like, it's just been nuts. So I fully expect a lot of volatility. Same idea here, right? Kind of peaked up, it trickled, and finally dropped right here. Another time where it was nice and high was right at this area. You see the drop, right? So every time it goes to a severely overbought phase, I do expect a pullback. All right, again, perfect example here. Way overbought, down it goes, right? All the way here. Right, that was the first one. It started, and again, you can see the mass divergence, right? This is dropping while the RSI is going up. That's seller's divergence, so yeah, that's bound to happen. So anyway, With all the news coming out, I am only going to be bullish on one thing, and that is the energy sector. Like I said before, I am liquid, but after recent analysis, I'm going to be diving into oil. And which oil specifically? I'm liking ConocoPhillips. Not only do they have a good balance sheet, but they are around the support zone right here, as you can see. So I'll draw that line where candles were closing. So it broke through that area briefly and went right back up. So the only reason I believe we came down to this zone, as you can see right here on the daily, there was a big gap that formed. So now if we take that box and draw up to where the gap is, oh look, exactly where we had price action over the last week and a half. So, two big green candles right beside each other. So that was just a weird open, but ultimately I do believe that this is going to be very bullish in the short term. Oh, excuse me, in the short term. And by short term I mean like 3 to 6 months tops, right? Midterm I would say 6 to 12, and long term anything over a year to about 5 years. So yeah, that's what I see here. ConocoPhillips I'm liking. The other one is Warren Buffett's pride and joy right now, which is Oxy. However, it's a little lower than I'd be liking to get into. So if I draw this up, as you see, okay, we've definitely not crossed any lower. So it's doing a pretty decent recovery, but I just believe that ConocoPhillips has much more upside potential, right? So let's say we hit our highs with Oxy, that's about 25% gains, and I believe we'll be seeing that in about 2 to 3 months. ConocoPhillips, where we're sitting at right now, come back up to the same area. It's about 27%. So not a huge variable difference. The only thing that I see between the two is Oxy, where are we at here? Right, the only difference is it peaked up and it didn't beat its previous peak, right? Like September compared to November, whereas ConocoPhillips, September compared to November, it was much, much higher, right? So this looks like it wants to climb, and as you see, even when I did the trend-based extension, that's exactly where it rejected off from, right? So now if we do another trend-based extension, let's go, where is it? Low, no, we did low, high, low, so high, low, high. High, whoops, jeez. All right, high, low, high. Right, so we're already sitting in that zone. I believe reversal is coming. All right, so those are my two for the week that I'm going to be kind of excited about. Everything else you see, I mean, we ended on a very green day, but as everything's been rising, I believe this is going to be short-lived. Like even Apple, you could see in Apple right here, it's just hovering in that zone. This is, I'll get rid of that Fibonacci. You can see, I mean, it bounced off of a support resistance zone prior, and it hasn't gotten there since. So yeah, I mean, I believe that it's going to be kind of short selling all the way back down to maybe the 120s for Apple. I'm liking Adobe. I'm going to get back. I'm not going to, I mean, not get back in it because I haven't actually had it, but I'm liking it for the long term. I do believe it'll be a potential to snag it up around in the high 200s. Carnival, I did play before. I'm not excited about it. Like I said, it was kind of a short-term play. It has a very huge pile of debt right now. So, I mean, for it to actually have any sort of value, it's going to need to have multiple years of solid earnings for it to actually come back up to its price around $60. And what else do we have? Costco dropped 2%. They had, oh no, they lost 300 million out of 55 billion in the quarter. What can you do? But yeah, they went up in their earnings estimate. So overall in the year, they went what? 330, 307, 420, and I don't know why that's blacked out. Anyway, so yeah, I mean, I guess we're looking around the $3 range. So what would be yearly earnings? Around 13 to 14 bucks a share. Within the year, that's not bad. And their dividend payout is 90 cents. So I mean, they could definitely afford it. All right, so that about does it, guys. I mean, unless there's, like I said, unless there's any particular stocks you want me to jump in on, I'll do them. Just throw it up, and I'll do my best to show you my technicals on that, whether it's worth buying or selling in any of the three terms. So, thanks again for tuning in, and I'll see you next week.